All right, the roll cage is on the floor. We got that off. That proved to be a real ticket or a real treat. Definitely got some work to do here. I think it was, I don't know. I think this is going to clean up nice. Once you get the cab off, there's a lot more easy paintable surfaces. I mean, I got a bunch of flat spots here. I mean, of course, half this space you don't even see, but I think this will clean up really nice. These arms are going to work out good. I think I can pull the lines off the insides of them. Just let the stuff hang, paint it up, and put it back together. Some people would just mask everything off, but I think we can do a little better than that. So, yeah, I'm hoping to get all the yellow stuff up high done. The attachment plate, I'm thinking I might do that once it's down on the ground again. So luckily that's in an easy spot once it's back down, set on the ground. So yeah, that was a little challenging. The square blocks on the side of it, if you've ever taken one of these off, get caught on the hoses because they sit down in here, so they're at hose width. So you basically have to shimmy it side to side and get the hoses past, and then it came out. It almost came out too easy once we got to that point, but gravity, I mean, obviously I was by myself. Gravity definitely helped. There's, if my GoPro didn't die yet, I might have a little video footage of that. But once it went, it finally went. So, yeah, I'm excited to get after this and get it cleaned up. I'm continuing to do the teardown on the cab on the RC30. Not sure if any of you guys that have these older machines have ever had this upper electronic, basically the dash setup. I'll try to get an upside down angle here. The upper dash, or whatever you want to call it, the instrument cluster, or whatever you refer to it as. Not sure if any of you have ever had it taken down, but there is a lot more in there than I was expecting. Fortunately, I did find there is most of the harness here can be unplugged, so that's great news. I was hoping I would find something. That way it wouldn't, I wouldn't have to cut and splice anything in particular or take out all of the individual components on this dash. So it looks like everything unplugs, where I can just pull the wiring harness off the back of the switches and like the ignition here. All right, let's see, today is Tuesday. We started this on, I think, Friday or Saturday. Had a little bit of time this weekend to actually tear into this thing, and as in my previous clips, obviously you've seen that whole process. Let's see, Sunday I only had a little bit of time to work on it. Monday I only had a little bit of time, so I've just kind of been picking away at this a couple hours a day basically, if that. Which is part of the reason I haven't been getting a ton of content up lately. Just been busy with things. So I guess we'll get to the point here, a little update. I cleaned this up a little bit. I know it probably still looks terrible to some of you, but I don't know if you saw what it looked like to begin with. This whole corner looks like it got tore back at one point in history before I had it. So there was some holes, burn holes from, I don't know, previous welding attempts, let's just say. It's not perfect by any means. I've got this old hand-me-down Hobart 140 welder that I've been using to tune up some of these things. So there was a huge hole here. I filled that all in. That turned out relatively good. I mean, it's not perfect, but once it's painted black, I mean, it's just a tiny spot in the grand scheme of things. I mean, there's way bigger issues. I've got welding issues all over this thing. Little update on the process. Yesterday, I didn't get a lot of time to actually take any video. I was kind of in go mode yesterday, trying to get some stuff done here. So yesterday, I painted all the hydraulic lines black. Anybody that has one of these older machines I don't know what happens to them. They come, when the machine's new, they're kind of a metal galvanized color, but it's not galvanized, but just a bare metal, whatever. Maybe they're made out of stainless or whatever. They're that color. They're not really shiny, just kind of a gray. I guess most of you are probably aware of what a hydraulic line color, bare metal color looks like, but so I guess I painted all those black because they were like faded. Well, faded's not a big deal, but they were like nasty. It's almost like somebody tried to paint them in years past and didn't prep them or didn't do something right. So we'll see how it holds up, I guess. I mean, this is what it turned out like. I'm sure if you saw in some of the earlier videos, all this stuff looked terrible beforehand. So this is one of those. We'll see how it holds up long term. Got a couple of coats of black implement paint on there. So we will we'll see, I guess. So I got all the lines painted. You can kind of see up in there. It's hard to tell, but I got everything wrapped up with plastic really well. But so I guess the primary goal right now is to get the loader arms all painted, the Caterpillar yellow color. I got everything masked off. I got everything ground down and sanded and primed. So I guess we're gonna see how it does or how it turns out. So there's plenty of imperfections on this machine. I don't expect it to be, as I've said in other videos, I don't expect it to be perfect when it's done. I mean, like there's a spot up here where there's gonna be lines when it's all done, but all the paint was wore off and it was rusty. So I mean, I ground it down till I got bare metal, and I'm just gonna paint it, put the line sets right there. You won't even see that spot. There's 4 hydraulic lines that go up right there and cover that. So I just want to get it covered with paint at least. I probably could have spent days grinding and sanding and getting all carried away, but some of these areas you're just not going to see when it's all done. So a lot of these areas were in really bad shape, and I cleaned them up quite a bit. So we got all the graphics off. That proved to be quite difficult. I don't know what ASV uses for their graphics, but it's pretty good stuff. I mean, granted, these were on for 20 years, so I mean, I guess if they hadn't come off yet, they're probably not going to. So, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'll wait for this primer to dry, and then I'm going to start hitting it with the Caterpillar yellow top coat. Once I get this upper part all painted, then we can start looking at this bottom. And once the bottom's painted, I'm thinking it's going to be reassembly mode at that point. When it's all done, the quick attach plate, or whatever you want to call it, it's got 100 different names that people call it. I'm going to paint that last. It'll actually be a little bit of yellow behind there that'll have to get done, but I'm quite confident that that'll turn out fine behind there, even if I do it after the fact. 99% of the time, it's in the resting bucket state, which is like this, unless you're running it. So, I mean, when you're standing looking at it, it's in this state when it's just parked. So that's what people are going to see. So I want this part to look the best. In a perfect world, I should have tipped the mounting plate down before I dismantled the machine, I guess. That would have been a better way to do it. But hindsight is always 20/20. But now that I got it all tore apart, I have no way to start it. So we're just going to have to go with what we got. So kind of excited to get this upper part done and we get this thing dropped down, and we'll probably paint the cylinders, the hydraulic cylinders, when it's all done too. We'll see. The side ones, the mains that run the boom up and down, they seem fine. Like I probably could leave those, but the two on the bucket tilt up there, their paint's like half the paint's wore off. Whatever was on them is gone. So once we get it back down, we'll reassess that, but that's just a minor little project. The most important part is to get everything inside the loader arms done, because once the cab goes on, you can't get to it. There's just no way. Maybe a little bit above the cab you can get to, but when it's up, so that's my primary focus. If I had to do any touch up on anything, on these areas, it would have to be done now, but the other areas, almost everything else is reachable later. So I will keep you guys updated. All right, folks, the ASV is all painted up and ready to roll. Took a little longer than I expected. Of course, every easy project takes 10 times as long as it probably should. But so originally, for those of you that may or may not have followed previous videos on this thing, the back half I had painted, God, it's been a year or two now. I gotta look back. It's been at least a year. When I fixed this engine cover, I repainted that. Well, then that didn't match the back of the machine, so the back half all got painted then. And then the line was basically right here. That way, I mean, I really only had, that was my stopping point right at the bottom of there. So it was a pretty good stopping point as far as painting. Otherwise, it would have been a much bigger project when I did the back part. So it was a full cab off restoration, as many of you will probably notice from watching the videos. Literally lifted the cab off, well, more or less tipped the cab off, because that's the only way to get to the arms on the inside. Tried to find 15 other ways to do it, and it never really worked out. So basically it was a full cab gut job. Pull the cab off and repaint the arms and everything up in the air, and then repaint the cab separate, and then put it back on basically. And I took this front plate off to paint that. I'm glad I did. I was gonna try to do it without taking it off, but I think I got a better outcome this way. So when it all comes down to it, I mean, I didn't do the best paint job in the world, but for those of you that remember what it looked like before, this is worlds better. Without completely sandblasting this thing down to bare metal, it's only going to get so good. So I just sanded or ground down the bad spots so they would accept primer, and recoated them. Some of the stuff got rattle canned with the Caterpillar yellow spray paint, and some of it actually got rolled on with a foam roller. There's some of it is a little bit of a combination of the two, where I might have rolled it and then I didn't really like the texture of the finish. So then if you hit it once with a spray can, it actually seems like it smooths out some of the rough patches. So it almost gives it just a slight texture when you roll it with a foam roller. So most of the cab got done with a roller, so that gives you a little bit of a visual on that texture that I was referring to. It almost, I don't know, I mean, I don't mind it. So for what this thing's going to get used for, it'll do just fine. Let's see, the hydraulic line sets, all of those I pulled loose and I spray painted all of them. They used to be just bare metal and they were rusty and they looked awful. So this was a huge improvement on the appearance factor. So I didn't completely dismantle the entire machine where you pull all the hoses off and all that. I didn't want this to become a 6-month project. So I went the easy route. I just pulled all the hoses loose, wrapped the loader arms with poly or paper or whatever I had to keep the black paint off of those. And then I painted all the hydraulic lines and then reversed the process. Basically wrap up all the hydraulic lines with poly and paint the loader arms. So got a couple finishing touches to do yet. I'm debating. There's a floor mat that goes inside of here, so I didn't spend a lot of time making this look beautiful. There's an ASV floor mat that goes from the front of the fuel tank there down onto the floor. I don't know how important it is, but I do have it. I'm thinking about putting it in. It wasn't attached for the last year or 2 years. It's just been kind of flopping around in there. So we'll see what I decide to do there. Let's see. What else am I forgetting? LED lighting upgrade. They're just Amazon LEDs is all they are. Nothing special. I just went on Amazon and I searched flush mount LED lights or LED floodlights, and that's what came up.
This light I had laying on the shelf in the shop, so that's where that one came from. This is just another Amazon find. I had this on something previously, I don't even remember. So I just slapped that on there for the rear light because the rear light was broke. These hose protectors were all faded to gray, so I did rattle can those black, so it actually turned out, that seemed to be an improvement. New graphics. Yeah, not a whole lot to see. New grip tape on here. Other than that, everything seems to have turned out well. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will answer them the best I can.